Sometimes we have to rewire our brain. It's important that we not so much hijack our mindset, but that we take control of our mindset. And especially if you want to be a strong, successful sales professional, you got to know how to do that. And on this episode, my guest, Natasha Hemmingway, is going to share with you her 5-step process that has helped her. And hopefully this can help you as well. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist podcast. I'm your host, Donald Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And on this episode, we have Mrs. Natasha Hemmingway, and it's Mrs. Natasha Hemmingway is going to come with her 16 plus years of sales professionalship in the corporate arena, as well as her leadership experience in the corporate arena. She's going to give us some insights, and she's going to share with you this strategy, this formula that she has, this 5-step formula that can help any seller to rewire the way that they think and to have that mindset of a strong, successful sales professional. You have this formula. I would love to hear, how can I help if somebody's listening to this podcast, help themselves to rewire their brain, or if they're a manager listening to this, or just a friend that can help one of their family members or another colleague improve their selling mindset. Talk to us about that 5-step formula, and let's break that down.
I think the first thing, like I said, is this number one is mindset. And that really is where I think my whole firm, literally it's trademarked. It's that serious. Is that selling with heart, not hustle. There's things that sit under that. And it's not, like I said, just being passionate or loving what you do, your business, your product, your service, whatever. But it's one is mindset. Like that belief, it starts there, it ends there. So one is mindset. 2, I always say this, is that people forget about this a lot. They forget that communication and energy are part of that mindset puzzle and piece. So that's part of the process, right? Communication is sales. It's how we communicate and articulate whatever we're selling from what I believe a place of confidence, ease, and grace. And then there's your energy that's involved with that. Your energy is, how do you show up? Are you showing up scarce? Are you showing up hustle? In hustle, what are those things that are keeping you or blocking you from actually connecting with the people that you're trying to serve? So mindset, communication, energy. And then the big pieces to that too, that are the heavy kind of hitters are the sales process and a sales strategy. And I believe all 5 of those things, it's not the goal of being at perfection, but it's really having an awareness to make sure that you are consistently operating on those 5 cylinders at all times to some extent, because you can't have like one without the other. It's necessary to have those 5 things to be able to really fully execute. And what I believe, start hitting what we call that like untapped potential of being able to sell and really communicate and have a transaction happen between the person that you like, what your product or service is, and the person that needs it.
I want to go back into the mindset piece. You mentioned the idea of the hustle, like the opposite of the hustle. Like, can you just break that down? When you say hustle in that sense, like that, talk to me about what you mean by that and how that could be damaging.
Absolutely. So in sales, obviously, a lot of times, especially if you're in corporate sales or you're in a business or whatever, you're running a sales team, it's all about the numbers. I've been there. I've been in that position where it's the quotas, it's the expectations. Those numbers have to be rolled up. There's an accountability or responsibility. The numbers have to be hit. But I believe as managers, we actually get to lead and manage and operate and lead our sales teams from a different aspect. Yes, those numbers have to be met, but how are we leading our people? So when you think about hustle, a lot of times people are so focused on the number, right? How do I get to the number? How do I get to the number? It's the chase. Or how do I, like you said, how do I know the most about my product so that I can impress people and get them to buy from me? Or hustle is worrying about the money that's not in your bank account, right? Hustling after something just because you need the money, right? Or trying to convert somebody from a place of hustle means, How do I make them like me so that they buy me? And I'm like, that has nothing to do with it, right? Like, you know, people get in that friend zone and they're like, let me try to convince them. If I can sell them me, or if I can sell my wisdom, or if I can tell them or convince them of how great I am, then they'll buy me. All of that mess. Or how do I tell them my pricing? How do I get them to say yes? All of that comes from a place of hustle, and that's not serving anybody. Because when you really flip that and you think about what heart is the actual piece of putting your client or potential customer in front of you. They are at the forefront of your business. Everything centers around that. That's how you identify your ideal client. That's how you create that or know about that niche market. That's how you actually develop products or services from once you establish your main thing, right? You shouldn't be selling too many things if you haven't sold this main thing well. But when you start to branch out to know what to further develop, it's coming from knowing your customer. And it's the point of literally having the customer at the heart and the forefront of your business so that you can actually serve them. They are your priority. They are the person that you're listening to. So sales becomes less of a, hey, I'm over here and I need something from you. You're over there. You need something from me. But it's a, hey, I'm actually in partnership with you because I'm here for your best interest.
Number 2 was the communication. And I think this kind of segues perfectly into it. Let's talk about that step of the formula.
Yeah. So communication does not it doesn't come without mindset, right? If our mindset is right, our communication actually starts to get in alignment with that if we're leading from that place. And I think communicating and articulating it's really knowing, you know, what you're selling and who you're selling to. Like, that's kind of like the baseline of just the basics, right? I talked about the heart, not hustle, of how you communicate, right? From a place of confidence, ease, grace, right? But the communication also comes from, I think it gets mixed up where people are trying to communicate too many different messages to too many different people. You're trying to sell everybody. You want everybody to want your product because you're operating from a place of hustle, because you just need money and you want the money, and you're missing the mark and you're missing your people. And I tell people all the time, make the main thing the main thing. Stop trying to sell 20 million things, because when your communication is off, your people don't know what you sell. They don't know if it's for them or not. And people do not buy when they're confused.
Which ties into the energy aspect, number 3. Let's talk about that a little bit further. How can that help us how can we change our mindset towards, based on energy to think like a sales pro?
Yeah. And this is where I say energy still goes back up to mindset, right? So I always say communication and energy drop into the mindset bucket, right? And so that energy is, how are you showing up? Because people fail to realize energy is very real, right? If you are nervous, if you're trying to say that you're there for the customer, but yet you're like scarce and you're like, I need this money. I just need them to say yes. Like, energetically, it's going to come up. You cannot hide it. You cannot run from it. People sniff it out. It's like what I call, a friend of mine, she said this and I'm like, it's so true. And I cannot take credit for it, but I say it a lot. It's that like people can smell commission breath, right?
Oh!
Like, it's funky, right? Like, you think you are hiding something and you think, oh, I'm going to keep this. I'm like, no, they smell you. They smell you. They smell your energy. Literally. It's like nobody's attracted to that. It's disgusting. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
And so people forget that, like, when I say literally, you have to genuinely love what you do so much that you won't shut up about it. You need to care about the people that you serve so much that you will not shut up, and that you show up for them. If you try to fake that, this is not one of those things, fake it till you make it. Nope, it'll show up.
The idea of process, number 4. Let's talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah. So a sales process, man, oh man, oh man. There are, I would say, solo entrepreneurs and small businesses fall into this bucket big time. But because I also come from Fortune 500 big companies that had sales teams, sales training departments, right? So they have a sales process on lock. That's how you move 423 people in just one division for a company that has multiple divisions where you move them towards a common goal, right? It's because they have a sales process and they have a sales strategy. But usually when it comes down to sometimes medium, small, and definitely solo entrepreneurs, they don't have a sales process. They are straight winging it. And I'm like, it is the biggest opportunity to miss sales over and over and over. You can have the best laid product, the best sales message, and no sales process or strategy and miss the mark over and over and over. And so the sales process is the basic bare bones is sales call, which is basically sales conversation, right? People call it strategy call, consultation call, discovery call, breakthrough call. I don't care what you call it. It is a conversation between you and a potential customer or client that you are trying to get them to say yes to and get a transaction from. Within that sales call, that's the first part. Then there's pricing, follow-up, closing.
Natasha, people out there, if they want to learn from you, you give them a lot of value today. They're vibing with you. They were connecting with you. If they wanted to go ahead and to make sure they contact you, what's the best way for them to go about doing so?
Yeah, pretty much Natasha Hemmingway everywhere. Whether it's on Instagram, I'm there. Whether it's LinkedIn, it's all the same. Natasha Hemmingway with 2 M's. And then my website is the best place, I would say, the hub. Whether it's filling out a form for a strategy call or taking the sales assessment or getting the free download that we have. It's all through NatashaHemmingway.com, and that's with 2 M's.
That was the one and only Natasha Hemmingway. And please go ahead and connect with her if you haven't done so already. You can find her on LinkedIn. You can find her on Instagram. And you can find her website in the show notes. If you're watching the YouTube video of this episode, you can find all of the information down in the description as well. I just really want you to connect with Natasha because she brings so much value to the table. And I know that it's going to be super helpful for you as a sales professional to be able to have somebody like this in your corner. Check out the process and the things that she shared today in the episode. I know if you apply them, you're going to see tremendous success in your sales career. I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to find more of your ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach out to them. I want you to close more deals. But most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things.